Hey, all my special parents. It's that time of the year that we all dread. It is October, November, which means it is IEP meeting time. Hoo, hoo, hoo. No, that's not how it goes. Actually, it's incredibly stressful. And so, as a way to try to alleviate some of the stress, I took an adaptive Christmas carol and I turned it into an IEP carol, and it's called "This was the night before the IEP meeting." All right? Okay, kids. 'Twas the night before the IEP meeting, and all through the house, the parents were kneeling, praying to Jesus on the cross. Their papers were placed in the folders with care in hopes that all the right paperwork would still be in there. The children were nestled all snug in their bed, oblivious to the panic in their parents' head. And Mama in her hair bonnet and Dad in his wave cap were anticipating a very long post-IEP meeting nap. When the phone gave a beep, they heard the email notice clatter, so they sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Straight to their laptops they ran in a flash and entered the password with splinter-like dash. But the subject line hid what they needed to know. All the information was in the long text below. While opening the email, what should appear but a sleigh full of names, so they grabbed a few beers. With beers in their hand, their dread grew quick. They saw in a flash the IEP trick. Scrolling down the CC box launched a scary new game as they rolled their eyes and they called out the names. First the principal, then superintendent, next special ed director, and the list wasn't done yet. On OT, on speech, on social worker, on school psychologist, and the other team lurkers. We'll fight them tomorrow, the parents yelled at the walls. We'll meet and we'll fight them. We'll fight with them all. While drinking and reading, they let curse words fly. Then they said, sorry, help us, Jesus, as they looked to the sky. So they read the email while sipping their brews, just knowing the email had something new for them to do. And then, in a miracle, they read the truth. It was just a reminder for their meeting, and they felt like goofs. At last, they relaxed and prepared to lay down, when an IEP elf appeared with a bound. She was an expert in IEPs, from her head to her foot, and she knew ADA, IDEA, and how best to give input. A bundle of information she had in her knapsack. She looked like a lawyer opening up her pack. Her eyes, how they twinkled, so glowing and merry. The parents pinched each other to make sure she wasn't imaginary. Her mouth wore a grin like a Christmas bow. Don't worry, she said. Let's fight the status quo. Then she grabbed a beer bottle and opened it with her teeth. She drank it all up with one big sip, like their Uncle Keith. While drinking her beer, she gently held her belly. Then the parents relaxed, knowing this elf was their Machiavelli. She was feisty and strong, and so sure of herself. I've been trained by the best, she said. I'm your personal IEP elf. Without speaking a word, she went straight to work, giving them the knowledge they needed to beat any jerk. She drilled them to make sure they knew all that she'd imposed, and when she was done, she ordered an Uber pool sleigh with a touch to her nose, gave the parents a dab, and from the chair she rose. The sleigh arrived with more elves just like her, ready to help other parents become IEP fighters when problems occurred. Our IEP elf gave the elf sleigh driver a long whistle. And all of the elves with their information on person-centered IEPs took off like a missile. And the parents heard her calling as they drove out of sight. Sleep well tonight. You are prepared for your IEP fight. And remember that although tomorrow you'll brawl, the IEP else will continue the fight until there's total inclusion for all.